G'day you lot, Steve from XETLA Consulting. Got a bit of a different vid this time around. We're going to jump a bit further forward into the R&D process and have a look at getting a patent. Yes, I did use the American pronunciation. I'm sorry, my intellectual property protection work's primarily done with those in North America. So I apologise if you're expecting me to say patent, but please humour me. So let's talk a bit about the nature of patents, how the game is played. It's a deep topic. There's a lot of areas that I could dive into, but for this one, I'm just going to focus on a couple of points that I think are particularly interesting. I was at a conference a little while back where a colleague was asked about the components in a catalyst. Upon hearing that the ingredients weren't something for discussion, given the heavily proprietary nature of the technology, the response was along the lines of, well, okay, I'll just go and read your patent. I'll come back to that. There's a view held by some in the IP protection sector, mainly in academia, that patents are an altruistic endeavour. They're there for the betterment of all humanity. As the saying goes around here, while that's a very noble sentiment, in my experience, it's pretty much the opposite. The patent is a mechanism to provide the inventor, be it individuals or an organisation, with a 20-year monopoly to harvest the commercial benefit of their work. The Australian Law Reform Commission has some interesting, largely supportive things to say about patents in this regard. Well worth a look if you're interested, including the benefits of the developments made available to the public in the 20-year window. There's good things to be had in that time. Also acknowledging that R&D ain't cheap. A patent has to explain the invention such that someone familiar with the art can replicate the work. Sounds good. In practice, what's often in the patent is a method so broadly defined that it could take decades, maybe 20 years, to get the parameters right to yield the same result. There's considerable angst in some circles about the difficulty in replicating the work. Is the method explained in the patent just outright bollocks? And it would take the poor examiner and the patent office far too much time and resources to be able to prove that that's the case? Or is there just a lot of parameter space to cover? To a large extent, the underlying attitude seems to be, well, if it's hard to replicate, then that increases its protection. The good old security through obscurity. You could probably argue that this is deliberate obfuscation, and you'd probably be right. But perhaps because of the high commercial stakes, it's a problem that, while often acknowledged, doesn't ever seem to get a lot of effort spent on getting it sorted. Maybe that tells you something. If you're at the point where you're looking at getting a patent, you think it might be a good idea, then feel free to drop me a line. A good patent lawyer is expensive. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a patent lawyer. I don't have a JD. However, I have worked with the best in the area. It's a topic that I enjoy, and I think I could add some value to make sure that providing you background to get the most out of your expensive legal time. I'll close this vlog with a bit of controversy. Hey, I'm no milk nurse, but if you want to kick off a lively discussion amongst intellectual property protection people, raise the topic of patents in human breast milk. And if you're vaguely aware of why I mention that particular topic, I can assure you that it's far more convoluted than you think. Rightio, you lot, that's enough for this one. I'll catch you next time. Stay curious.